Welcome back to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. I'm your host, Jake Stewart. In today's episode, I sit down with Sal Diaz, who tells his story about starting boot camp in an effort to just gain some muscle, lose some body fat, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
Welcome back to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. I'm your host, Jake Stewart, and today I got an awesome opportunity to sit down with my man, Mr. Sal Diaz. Sal, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
No, thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. I'm super excited to have you. So I just wanted to give you a little opportunity to tell the audience at home, who are you? Give us a little bit of your story, just a little bit of background.
Well, my name is Sal Diaz. I've been a boot camp member for about 2 years, and for a living, I do a little bit of everything. I started out as an entrepreneur, so I have 2 elderly care homes here in the area. And then on my side, I do work for home health and hospice. And then on the weekends, I'm a soccer coach for little kids. So, and I have 2 kids of my own and my wife. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Sound like a busy guy for sure. That's a lot. That's definitely a lot to juggle around, which we'll get to in a bit because that's definitely something everybody always brings up. Is I can't fit fitness in because of my schedule, because I'm a busy person. I have this, or I have kids, or I have that. So we'll tackle that in just a bit. But I'm curious to get a little bit more of your background. So let's talk about just kind of your fitness background specifically. What does fitness always look like for you? I know kind of off air we were talking a little bit about when you were in college, maybe there was kind of a change that you made. Walk us through that and kind of what fitness has looked like pretty much your whole life. Growing up, did you play sports? And just kind of your story up until today, So give us the whole Sal fitness story.
Yeah, so growing up, I was really competitive. I grew up playing tag, playing hide and seek. That always, seemed like it was a physical activity. A lot of cardio, definitely. And then going into college, playing soccer. I got a scholarship to play soccer in college out of state. And I would say, change was when my coach told me I was too small for the team, as in I needed to build some muscle. And that kind of, threw me back, and I was like, well, how am I going to do this being out of state with no support, no knowledge with how to build any muscle? And that's when I started doing more of education on what to do, what to eat, and it just opened up my world to the world of fitness.
Definitely.
From there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then leading up past that, as you were trying to gain some muscle, was there any programs or things that you tried? Did you go to a big box gym? Were you lifting weights? What did that all look like?
Yeah, so I went to a lot of marathons, I would say. More cardio, more running. Not really a lot of building muscle, I would say. It's more of just a lot of cardio. a lot of cardio.
Yeah. So, doing lots of cardio for sure. And that's always something a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people don't see the value of building lean muscle. They just think, I got to do as much cardio as I can, burn as many calories as possible.
Yeah.
And that's good to a certain expectation, but it's not good if you're doing that too much. So kind of like your soccer coach was saying, hey, we got to pack some muscle on you, because your body needs that lean muscle mass, which is really, really important.
Yeah.
Now that you've been at boot camp for a couple of years, I know that we hit the 2-year mark, which is crazy. It feels like we just met yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So now that you've been at boot camp for a couple of years, talk us through a little bit of your boot camp experience. Hey, how did you start boot camp? And what's it been like being here at Fit Body Boot Camp for the past couple of years?
Yeah, so between college and now, which is a good gap, I've had my ups and downs of my weight going, up to the 200 plus mark, and then going down to the 180 mark. It's just been a struggle. I was a LA Fitness member for a couple of years, and I remember 8 months not even touching the gym at all, just because I was so busy with, my lifestyle, and it was just, I'll do it later, I'm still okay. But I would say it was a Father's Day gift coming to boot camp from my wife, where she's like, start this program, maybe it helps out with your lifestyle and what you have, which it did. And I've been doing it ever since 2 years. It's just, it works out perfectly. I show up, leave my cell phone aside, focus on what I'm doing here with the exercises, and it goes by really quick, 30-minute workout, and it's just going back to my life again. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference as you proceed through doing, certain exercises throughout the time. You start to see results. So
definitely.
But then yet again, you hit a plateau, like I mentioned. Definitely with the lifestyle, you work out and you want to eat unhealthy because you're like, oh, I'll burn it out later. And where, I was looking for that mindset of wanting to eat healthy again. And I looked forward to the 6-week transformation that you guys offered here. And I'm like, this is going to be it. This is going to be a start. And I was happy I made that decision to taking that challenge.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's something I always like to say too. So if like you're sitting at home right now and you're thinking like, hey, I need something that's going to kickstart. Like I haven't been really into fitness, or maybe I've been yo-yoing on my diet, or maybe yo-yoing on my fitness. Come into a 6-week challenge. It's not like the biggest commitment in the world. 6 weeks is an easy commitment, and if you just fully commit yourself to it, it works wonders. Something I think that you said was awesome was you kind of set. When you said what was awesome about coming into workout is you get to set your phone down and forget about like the rest of your life. That is so important because that's really what a workout is it's me time. It's it's time for myself. It's time I get to work on myself. You're not worried about the kids. You're not worried about your 3 crazy jobs that you're always going all over the place for. It's your time to come in and work out. Now what I'm curious is a lot of times people's excuse, I hear this a million times a year, is Coach Jake, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to work out. I don't have enough time to eat healthy. I don't have enough time to be fit. What would you specifically say as someone who's super busy? You're a dad of 2. Recently, like I just had the other little one pretty recently. What would you say to that to combat that? Like, how do you get your workouts in?
I would say don't think about it as the system here is very simple to follow, to where you sign up for a class, you feel committed, and you just show up and just let go. A lot of the times, with lifestyles is, I say do the work now and not pay the price later, into where you're not working out or you're not eating healthy and have to pay the risk of being unhealthy or diseases later in life and overweight. And it's just doing the action. Also, it all baby steps, just coming in, and then I think it'll just climb into where you want to be in life later through
Definitely.
the journey.
Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that began my fitness journey as a fitness transformation. Now, you see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and I lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my self-confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life on life's terms. Now, it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. Now, in fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee, yes, guarantee, that you'll lose at least 10 pounds within 6 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now, go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now, thanks, and back to the show.
And it's something too I wanted to just kind of ask because I'm always so curious. So you've seen the physical changes, so down like 15 pounds, pretty much since you started boot camp, which is awesome. You gained some muscle, you're looking good, but are you feeling good too? So I'm curious kind of like what the emotional state and the mental state, because a lot of times that's usually the biggest difference. So I'm curious if you felt the same, like have you noticed a big like emotional or like mental change since you first started coming to boot camp?
Oh yeah, so it was it didn't happen overnight. It was first getting my body in here and working out. And then as I went through that, and your guidance as the coaches here, I asked that same question. I'm like, you know what? I feel great physically, but my mental status is not there. I feel like my mind is not there. Like it was a tough thing to go through. But then with everything, all the guidance I got here with the steps of meditating, or start eating a little healthier, or recommend you to do this instead of that after your workouts. It just started to pop, and just the challenge just worked out with leaving caffeine in the mornings, not having to take dependent on caffeine, or the unhealthy habits I was doing after work or before work, or after the workouts. It just helped out. It helped out with knowing that there was a support in the back, the coaches, and just the gym here.
Definitely.
And definitely everybody, I appreciate everybody that comes in to work out, because it definitely feels like a family, not just a community, but I feel like I fit in any class that I choose to come in. If it's in the morning or in the evening, it just feels like home. And it's something that I never got anywhere else in, you know, LA Fitness or any other challenges that gyms that I went to. Because I felt like a waste of time sometimes going into a gym for 2 hours and, you know, not even socializing with anybody or, just any connection.
Definitely,
Human connection.
yeah, no, and it's easy to waste time too, especially like if you don't know anybody or things like that. Like it's easy to go into a big box gym and just kind of wander aimlessly almost. So
Yeah.
I'm super happy that you kind of have found family here at Fit Body, which is awesome, which is, we absolutely love to hear that. Something that you said along the way and what I'm curious about, and if you have any like tips and tricks for somebody at home, busy guy, working a bunch of jobs, and again, with kids and everything else, what are some tips and tricks you have for making sure that you keep your eating on track? Is there anything specifically do you do? Do you plan out your week? Do you plan out your meals? Do you bring a protein shake with you? Like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I try to plan ahead, but I definitely do have a cheat day in between the week. I usually choose Sunday because it's more of a family day. So if it's something that we go to, say Disneyland or out to the park or with the family, they want to have pizza, definitely don't fight, you know, against the diet. But it's definitely that I know I'm going to start over on Monday where too I'm going to be eating healthy, and it's worked out so far. But definitely look at definitely the diet did work out a lot with my with the physique and everything, with
Definitely
having energy.
Yeah, totally. And I think something I always like to tell people is, you know, when it comes down to diet and eating right is simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it's simple, you know, you're supposed to eat, you know, proteins, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of fats, have your veggies, you know, drink your water. Like that's very simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to go to Taco Bell, or it's easy to go to McDonald's. It's easy to go to all those places. You know, it's easy to have that pizza, but if you know that like, hey, if I'm eating clean, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday we go to Disneyland, I want to have a slice of pizza and a churro or something with the kids, or whatever it is, that's okay. You can afford to do that. I always say, like, think about your calories like you think about your money. Just make sure you spend them wisely, because if you're blowing all your calorie money on like pizzas and burgers and French fries and all this other stuff, you're not gonna have, like, you're only gonna be able to eat one meal a day, because you're gonna overspend on your calories and you're gonna start gaining weight. You're gonna not feel great, which is really, really, really great point. So I think that's super awesome. So Sal, moving kind of into like the next part of our interview, this is a local podcast here in Orange County. I know you mentioned Disneyland, which is obvious, everybody loves Disneyland. What are some things that you and the fam like to do kind of around here? Is there any specific spots? You guys go to the beach? Do you guys hang out at the parks? Like, is there anywhere specifically that you guys like to go?
Yeah, we do a lot of trails. Definitely growing up, I made a decision to take my kids to a different park here in the community so they can meet new people or just meet know where they're at. But yeah, we stick to the beach a lot of running, a lot of hiking with local parks, and just try to stay active, try to set a good example for the kids and just for everyone else, for the community. I think we don't feel like other people notice when we do something, say positive or even negative, but just people seeing, say, other families, you can maybe set, you know, for them to say, hey, you know, if he can do it, why can't I? And I think it's gone a long way to when I started boot camp, when people ask, oh, how is it that can you still work out? For example, family asking me, oh, how do you still work out if you're still, you know, working 3 jobs or have kids? I'm like, it's you know, you find the time because you want to be different, and I feel it helps out a lot, you know, with having a good mindset too.
Definitely. Yeah, I think something that we can all take away there, I loved how you said, I want to set a good example, not only for your kids, but you also mentioned for families and other people in your community. And that's just so important. So the things that we choose to do, especially parents out there, so if there's any parents watching the show, your kids look up to you like you are just the number one on their pedestal. Like, they're going to do the things that you do. If you have bad habits, whether it's eating habits, whether it's not working out, like if you have all these negative habits, your kids are probably going to do that, but worse. It's probably going to be even worse eating habits. It's probably going to be even more being lazy, even more sitting around and being sedentary. But if you flip the script, and if you have good eating habits, and you're always healthy, you're always working out, you're taking the kids to trails, you're doing all those things, those kids are going to fall in love with doing those things, and it's going to be second nature to them to want to do it. I always say it's like monkey see, monkey do. So once the little monkeys see you do it, like that's what they want to do. So I think that's a really important part, and it's really awesome that you have the thought process to think not only for your own family, but other families in your community. Because at the end of the day, we're all just one big happy family here in the human race. Maybe not so happy sometimes. Maybe sometimes we don't all get along. But at the end of the day, like, we want everybody to get better. So that's, I think, a really, really awesome point, and thank you so much for sharing. A fun little question I always like to ask kind of toward the end is I want two things. So one, what's your favorite cheat meal? So what's your favorite, if you're going off the rails and you're getting down and dirty with your diet, what are you having? And then on the flip side, what's your favorite healthy meal, like a go-to healthy meal? So give me the good and the bad. I'm curious what Sal's snacking on.
So a cheat meal would be, I say a carne asada quesadilla, but it has to be greasy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want the grease coming out. And then a healthy meal, I'm about shrimp. I'm about any shrimp cocktail. Yeah, that would be my healthy meal. Any seafood.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely good. Seafood's always good for you. A lot of good protein there. So Sal, as we wrap this up and this episode's coming down to a close, one last thing I always like to ask is, do you have any parting wisdom for those sitting at home? So maybe someone's sitting at home, maybe they're similar to you, maybe hey, they're a dad of 2 or a mom of 2 or 3 or 4 kids. Maybe they work 3 jobs and they haven't made the change to come in and do fitness. Maybe they haven't made a change to eat a little bit better and they're still just kind of in limbo and they don't know what to do. What's some advice that you would give that person directly at home?
Yeah, take action. If it is that you are feeling unhealthy, take action to where do it for your family, do it for everyone else, and it'll make you feel better at the end of the day to help out others more than anything.
Definitely. Well, Sal, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for investing the time coming in and sharing your story. It's been so awesome getting to know you just a little bit better, and I know everybody at home got a lot of value out of this episode. If you did get value from this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below, and we will see you next time.